Hey folks, welcome back. And let's talk about US Bank because this is weird. The US Bank Altitude Reserve launched about 9 years ago in 2016 as a card that could give you unlimited 3% mobile wallet spend, whether that be through Apple Pay, Google Wallet, whatever mobile wallet. You got 3 times points on the card. You also got additional points for booking through the US Bank Travel Center. You got 3 times points on travel related purchases outside of the mobile wallet, and 1 times points on everything else. It had a $400 annual fee, 8 passes to Priority Pass. Initially, it was 4 passes for yourself and 4 passes for a guest. Then they just made it 8 general use passes, which they currently are. And it's one of the last cards that gives you Priority Pass restaurants with those 8 passes. Cool. The card had a welcome offer, I think, of 50,000 points on $4,500 in spend or something like that. But we're not going to worry about the welcome offer. The card has come and gone twice. So they initially discontinued the card when they launched the US Altitude Go for the marketing push for the Altitude Go. And then in 2023, 2024, US Bank was pivoting away from the Altitude line and was going to make Smartly their premier line of cards. And US Bank isn't aware of the internet, and US Bank isn't aware of the denizens on the internet who will break things when it comes to credit cards, because they released an unlimited 4% earning card that immediately lost them a bunch of money. US Bank has quietly been working behind the scenes. First, they nerfed the Smartly rewards card back in April, where they cut off the ability to use investments for the 100,000 mark for the uncapped 4%. They put caps on the spending categories. It was 4% for everything except for these categories. Then they recently made changes to the ability to earn unlimited 4% even to the folks who they grandfathered in April, because they were hemorrhaging money for another quarter. So US Bank is pivoting back, and apparently their pivot back will include the US Bank Altitude Reserve in some fashion, because in addition to all of the sacrifices to the altar of Smartly that they previously made, there are changes coming to the US Bank Altitude Reserve, even though the US Bank Altitude Reserve hasn't been publicly available for application since November of 2024. So this letter has apparently been circulating. It was picked up on Reddit, posted on Reddit. And the only reason why I'm using this letter through an image or link is because it's an actual letter from US Bank. So it's not a Reddit post. It's not Danny the Deal Guru, but this will probably get picked up in the next little bit. So we're going to share our screen here. This coming from US Bank changes. So this is coming from US Bank. Apparently, your card will give you more earnings and great benefits, including richer earnings through travel bookings through the US Bank Travel Center, earning 10 times points on hotels and car rentals, 5 times points on flights booked directly in the travel center when using this card. Transfer points to other loyalty programs. Transfer your Altitude Reserve points to other airlines and hotel loyalty programs, providing valuable flexibility to maximize your travel. Discount on purchase gift cards. And now the following rewards program updates will take effect December 15th of 2025. 3x points on mobile wallet spending on Apple Pay, Google Wallet, Samsung Pay on your first $5,000 each billing cycle, then 1 point thereafter. You will continue to earn 3x points on eligible travel purchases and 1x points on all other purchases. Plus, you will continue to receive these premium travel benefits: TSA PreCheck and global entry, airport lounge access, and no foreign transaction fees. It sounds like they're going to upgrade you from getting 8 passes to an unlocked priority pass that will probably include restaurant, but probably not. Who knows? Because the City Prestige has a priority pass that has restaurants, but the City Strata Elite does not. City is also planning on doing lounges. I'm not aware of any US Bank attempts to create airport lounges, but I will have to start checking trademarks with US Bank. So I'll have to follow up on that. $325 annual credit for travel booked through the travel center. So they're going to bring the travel credit behind their paywall, much like Capital One and City. And reward redemption changes. Current value for travel, 10,000 points are equal to $150. Effective 12/15/25. You'll get the most value when you redeem points for travel or as a deposit in an eligible US Bank account at 1 cent per point, where 10,000 points is equal to $100. When redeeming points for statement credit, gift cards, merchandise, real-time rewards, non-travel, and US Bank rewards card, the point values and redemption minimums may vary over time. It will be disclosed upon redemption. You may redeem your points at the current redemption value through 12/14/25. After that, the new redemption values will apply. and other benefits remained unchanged. For more information about these changes, please visit usbank.com/altitude reserve benefits for details. Okay. My most optimistic reading on this, and forgive me for not being super optimistic on this, but my most optimistic reading on this would be 10,000 points is equal to $150. So that is for real-time rewards. Doesn't say here specifically that real-time reward, they are limiting real-time rewards, it seems, to 1 cent per point. So that's not good. Because it's not spelled out as real-time rewards, I thought there might be some wiggle room where real-time rewards will still get you 1.5, but probably not. This all leads me to believe that the US Bank Altitude Reserve will be coming back for ability to apply before the end of the year. Now, what this card is going to look like with that, these new changes are bad if you've been holding on to the Altitude Reserve for a number of years. I know Dugras and Spaethco are huge fans of this card because it's basically unlimited, uncapped 4.5% return. You can thank the folks at Smartly who abused the crap out of the Smartly card for these nerfs coming. Yeah, it's their fault. I'm not going to say it's fully it's fully their fault. US Bank, again, has been hemorrhaging money from the Smartly debacle. So anything they can do to get Smartly off their books as soon as possible, sooner rather than later, because it's still less than a year since Smartly launched, they're going to try to do as soon as they can, as soon as they are able to, I am going to assume. Now, Altitude Reserve was a nice brand for them that was making them some money. So it looks like they're going to lean back into Altitude Reserve. The caps at $5,000 in spend per billing cycle, you can put $60,000 through the card on mobile wallet and earn a max of 180,000 points a year through mobile wallet spend. That is still not bad, right? It could have been a lot worse. 5,000 per billing cycle is not great. I understand. I hear you. But again, it's better than 3,000 or 1,500 or 2,000 every billing cycle. So you at least can get a nice pool of points that way. 3 times points on travel. US Bank's travel is not as widely universal as, say, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, or Chase's travel, but it's still pretty decent at 3x. And then there's going to be the travel portal for 10 times points on hotels and rentals and 5 times points on everything else on flights. The welcome offer and the new annual fee on this card is going to do a lot of heavy lifting on this one. $350 in travel credit through the portal is a pain, but it doesn't look like it's going to cap you. It's going to require you to do 2-night stay, so that might be gameable. I said that the US Bank Altitude Reserve couldn't come back a third time. It doesn't look like it's going to come back the same way a third time. It's going to come back significantly weaker, but, and this is a pretty strong but, we don't know what the transfer partners are going to look like. Now, there's no way that US Bank is going to land Delta, United, or American, most likely, unless American, absolutely didn't get included in their clause with Citi that they couldn't sign up with any other bank and loyalty program, and we're just going to head to a faster deval and US Bank pairs up with American Airlines. That would be funny, and I'm here for chaos. But it's going to be interesting to see what this card ends up looking like. It appears to me from this letter and these changes being marked for December that by the end of the year, the US Bank Altitude Reserve will be back publicly available, probably with some sort of relatively high welcome offer, probably 75,000 altitude points. It remains to be seen if the Altitude Go and Altitude Connect will also be able to pool points. If the Altitude Power and the Business Altitude Connect will also be able to pool points into an altitude ecosystem. If they're going to be doing point transfers, I have to imagine that the ability to pool points will be across the altitude lines. They're going to look to get rid of Smartly as soon as they possibly can, get that card discontinued, get that card off their books, and get those folks onto altitude cards of some sort as quickly as possible. It would also potentially help if they use Cashwise to convert your cash back into altitude points to get this thing going. I said a couple of years ago they could have won travel if they had taken all of their altitude points and their Cash Plus card and just made all of that into a transferable currency. Looks like a couple years later and a lot of reputation damage, they're deciding to take me up on that. No, I do not work for US Bank. No, they have not contacted me in any way, shape, or form. They don't even know who I am. I'm just a lowly schmo on the internet. Just going to put that out there. But US Bank is going to be jumping into the loyalty program side of things. I would assume that you're going to see the typical Air France KLM Flying Blue You're going to see Virgin Atlantic probably. You will see probably Air Canada, some flavor of Avios, and then we'll have to see what else they get. Korean Air would probably make a lot of sense for SkyTeam because they issue the Korean Air credit cards already, get a little bit of what little synergy they can that way. Hotels, you're going to be looking at Wyndham, you're going to be looking at Choice, you're going to be looking at lower tiers unless they try to go the luxury hotels of the world's route and they try to go Accor Live Limitless and they try to go, what would be the other one? I Prefer, because City's got a pretty decent rate with I Prefer. I would assume that I Prefer would also want to expand out beyond City because having just one partner, probably not the best play unless you have the sort of relationship that Hyatt and Chase have, that Hilton and American Express have, that not Choice and Wells Fargo, but US Bank returning to the travel game, to the travel side of things. It looks like they're actually going to put forward an effort, but given what's happened with Smartly, given the fact that they have discontinued the altitude reserve twice, given the fact that it really doesn't seem like they have a clue what they're doing, do you trust them? How much do you trust them? And with this new altitude reserve coming, because it's not going to be the same card, do you think that it's going to have an annual fee increase? I think it will. It's at $400 now, $550, $595. And a full priority pass with restaurants might be enough. The earnings would be better with that as opposed to something else. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. So US Bank is returning to the fold in terms of travel and getting into the transfer point game. Wells, get your stuff together. And yeah, let's see what happens. It would also be interesting to see if US Bank pairs up with one of the new loyalty programs like Mesa or Rove or Built and gets an in that way. That could be a play. I don't know how much of a play because they're listing hotel and airline, but there's other loyalty programs out there. We'll see. Anyway, I have stretched this as far as I can, but that's going to do it for this one. If you like what I do, hit the like and subscribe down below. Check out the Stack Your Points podcast. We release on Wednesdays and Fridays here on YouTube. We do a live on Thursdays, every Thursday at 8:30. And yeah, come check us out there. I also co-host the Bridge Banter Podcast, a new Star Trek podcast with RJ from Stack Your Points. So if you like what we do on Stack Your Points, check us out talking about Star Trek, not credit cards. That releases on Monday mornings. Yeah, so that's going to do it for this one. If you like what I do, you can subscribe. Check out the pinned comment for ways to support me. If you really like what I do, consider becoming a channel member. $2.99 a month. You can cancel at any time. Talk to you soon. Appreciate your time. Could have been anywhere else. You stuck around with me for as long as you did. Appreciate you. Bye for now.